while things are getting set up, a quick snap poll. How many of you are surveyors out there? Slowly hands are coming up. 4, 5, 6, 7. How many are IT professionals? 1, 2, 3. I expected to see more. 4, 5. You see, things are changing. And there are many firsts. Just give me a sec, please. I was going to say that the line between surveyors and IT professionals is vanishing, and this proves it. Because getting something done, you can't do anything today without having a working knowledge of IT. And as surveyors, one would notice that you're getting more and more hands-on into IT than you were ever doing before. You have to talk about various concepts, you have to talk about data, you have to talk about integration, you have to talk about communication, you have to talk about so many things that you weren't concerned about in the older days. It's a first for me also in many, many years, my 18 years. Most of my presentations have been about hardware, talking about what wonderful GPS receiver that Trimble has, what wonderful UAS we have, what wonderful software we have for image processing, well, you know, which is an exception when I talk about it, because most of my discussion has been on the scanner side or mobile mapping side or airborne sensors side. But it's possibly most relevant today as we head into an age of digitalizing India, per se as such, where more and more of us will have to adapt different set of systems. There has to be change the way we collect data, the way we collate data, the way we share data. That is going to become more relevant in the time to come. Saved it? Finally, let me assure you, you won't face this kind of problem with our equipment, by the way. So we don't make this. I use somebody else's third-party product. But anyways, is there a pointer, please? Ah, right hand. So carrying along so that I don't lose the momentum per se as such. Today, spatial data is relevant in nearly every industry that we talk about. Whether it's agriculture, whether it's heavy civil, whether it's construction, BIM, cadaster, rail, environment, water utilities, and as Sir presented before me, geological space as well. Although a lot of people don't know us, it's a very difficult task when you try to explain to someone that what do you do? Well, I work in the geospatial industry. What is that? You have to try and explain it. That's something that Google does here. Something, oh yes, okay, that's interesting. We create data for Google, etc., something like Google. Or have you seen that guy standing on the road with a total station looking through some weird kind of optical equipment? Oh yes, I've seen it sometime in my life. Then a person understands. So we are in that kind of a space from where we have to graduate. And more and more, as more and more segments of the industry or the segments of the economy adopt us, there'll be more and more realization towards the younger generation, especially that geospatial industry is very, very pertinent. And survey and the mapping industry per se is also extremely relevant to the entire development of the nation. So today I'm going to talk more about what is the changing trend that we see. And we are already experiencing in the country. We are seeing more and more of it in our day-to-day dealing in India. And not only India, even in the region. A lot of the paradigms are changing. We thought that, okay, it'll take us technology to 10 years to come into India. That is not so anymore. Even our neighboring countries are jumping paradigms as they move towards creating or digitalizing, as I put it. As the slide says, I'm not going to read out all of it, but the converging forces have placed geospatial in the center of the evolving ecosystems. Technology, as we know, is advanced very, very quickly. PC, internet, speed of data. We're talking about 4G right now. People are talking about 5G already. Application, people are developing apps. That's a huge market out there. People are willing to customize and create specific apps. Roles of the geospatial data professional, as I was talking earlier, has changed. People don't want just data. People don't want surveyor to just give them a surveying company to just give them data. They want some sort of a add-on benefit out of that particular thing. I was talking to some organization, a big construction company, etc. They were getting 2D data. Then suddenly they realized that why don't I take 3D data? There's a lot more richer information which I can get out of the 3D data. Because the company who's acquiring the data at the same cost or a fraction of the cost, they can also get the 3D data, which they can further use for their analysis and other applications. ROI has becoming more and more important. It always was, but it's gaining more and more momentum today. Whether it's a big company or large or small company, they are all concerned about return on investment. Environmental concerns, transparency of info, and worker safety are also becoming very, very relevant in today's environment. Now, when we talk about digital environment, especially in the Indian context, since we are talking about a lot about digital India and a lot of other developments that are going around it, it calls for creating world-class infrastructure. And that calls for creating or using state-of-the-art technology and collaboration. Collaboration between people, collaboration between organizations, collaboration between sensors, collaborating between enterprises, collaborating possibly between governments. This particular slide just talks about various solutions that Trimble does offer, and we can talk about it, different capture mechanisms, etc. You're most welcome to come across the stall, and we can discuss about the various technologies that we can use to capture and analyze the data that can be derived from field operations, etc. But I would like to highlight this. Sustainable digital drive requires creation of smart infrastructure. Extremely important. Smart is a very, very funny, word. Very small word, but has a very relevant meaning. I won't go into the meaning of smart infrastructure per se as such, but emphasize that it needs a physical infrastructure, it needs a social infrastructure, it needs an environmental infrastructure to be created. And a new age geospatial solution for a digital India will need to address all these three challenges. And that in itself will require, first of all, creating a geodetic framework. I have talked about this since 2004, to be very honest. and I try to mention every forum. This is possibly the most relevant part. This is going to be the backbone for creating a digital India. Unless you have common coordinate frame of reference across, which is used by all surveying and mapping organizations, it's going to be an extremely difficult task. What creating a geodetic infrastructure enables multiple survey organizations to collect the data that fits together at a city, state, or a national level. Any a large development, whether it's cadastral, whether it is, talk about China, a lot of people talk about China, part of the development has been on account of the geodetic framework infrastructure which has been created in those countries. And what is it? For those people who are hearing about it for the first time, it is basically a network of GPS, continuously operating GPS reference stations. And I'll be happy to share more information about it. My colleagues are also outside. They can talk about it. But this is possibly the single most important thing when we start out trying to create geospatial content across the board. And not only create, maintain it. Unfortunately, when we go out and talk to a lot of agencies throughout the country, people are still talking about data collection. We have to graduate from data collection alone to data maintenance as well. And this infrastructure will enable that. Another concept which is important is on-demand data collection. The first slide, the first GNSS infrastructure that enables you to create on-demand data collection possibilities. It's so simple to have a handheld device go out, turn it on like a mobile phone, get correction from a network of stations, etc., and start serving and creating a map. Go out and update those maps. You don't have to go and set up a base station or start off from a Survey of India benchmark, traverse to the particular point, and then carry out your survey, etc. All that is made redundant. Time is of the essence. In the new world, time is money. And on-demand data collection is going to happen. A lot of organizations are demanding that. This is also going to lead to, I feel, a need for what we call maintaining data as well. It's inevitable. Another thing that we see is more and more organizations are moving towards mass data collection and different forms of mass data collection. You want, many companies, including a lot of the organizations out here, have capabilities to process this kind of a data. And data can be collected from various sources, whether it is airborne, whether it is terrestrial lidar, whether it is through handheld devices or third-party devices, etc. All can go and address needs to different segments of the infrastructure. But people are not willing to wait months and months, year and year. They want quick mass data collection today. Connectivity. This is an important element. You need tools which can connect back and forth. Office, field, customers, etc. Connectivity has changed. Connectivity has redefined the way we carry out the work. Connectivity has redefined the way surveyors work on a worldwide basis. This is an extremely important element. You can talk to your different sensors. You can talk on account of connectivity to your teams out in the field. You can exchange information on account of connectivity with your customers in near real time, if not real time. Gone are the days where you use a screwdriver as a pry bar, as a hammer, and so forth, as a tin opener or a can opener or whatever. Tomorrow's industry requires specific cutting-edge technology for a specific task. One size need not fit all. There is a need for specific solutions, whether through hardware, whether through software, or a combination of both, which are going to make our lives much more easier. You will not use total station necessarily, generically. You might have an app on the particular total station which is catering to a particular application. Today, you have a technology which which you can map, create a 3D map to centimeter level accuracy from space, air, land, or inside a building. So there is going to be more and more demand for such kind of technology. Mobility. Another aspect which is going to redefine the way things have to be done is how we make our workforce smart. You don't want your workforce coming back to your office. You should have a seamless system, and there is an extreme need, and this is going to happen. It's already started happening, where data exchange is exchanged from office to field pretty seamlessly. And every, individual worker that you have is like a sensor. He's part of the IoT of things. So that is going to grow more and more on account of smart platforms, smart devices, could be tablets. We have a few on display out here, so please feel free to go and take a look. Smart accessories, and obviously a software platform which integrates everything and makes it feasible. A very important aspect is collaboration. Collaboration is going to define the way things get done. It enhances data access and make sure that you don't waste time getting data from one point to the other. I know in the old days, people used to insist that, okay, there has to be a CF card slot in the equipment that you have, because my surveyor is going to take that CF card and then go back to his base, and then he's going to email the data, or they'll send a runner back to the head office with the data, etc. Gone are the days. Today, it's a real scenario where every half an hour, your data can be uploaded to the cloud automatically. If you've got 50 teams working out in the field, imagine you get 50 different points of connectivity to the cloud. Every half an hour, the data gets uploaded automatically. Sitting in your office, especially if you have a multi-crew organization, you can see how much task has been achieved by every person. You can send information, you can send him the next job, you can send him the next base file, you can send him the next GIS data, or whatever task you want him to achieve, which you can use to accomplish your task. This is going to gain more and more momentum as we step out, and this is the need of the hour. You can't waste time running back and forth, sending people back and forth with the data. This is a fairly important slide, which, from our perspective also, it communicates our philosophy in a big way as well as Trimble. We feel that one integrated platform is the future. You have one software in which you can do all the processing. You might take part of it. The future is you might use one aspect of the software, etc. It may be on on-demand basis. You may have it on a permanent basis. It may be on a license basis, etc. For example, somebody wants to use a roading module. He might use a roading module today. He might rent it for 1 week, finish his task. Somebody wants a tunneling module. He might use it for a particular task. Somebody wants to use a photogrammetry module, etc. He might use it, etc. Everything is going to get done in one particular platform, so that you don't have to jump from one platform to the other, so that the work is done very, very seamlessly. You don't waste time going from one platform to the other. Your field, your office, your customers are all connected. At the end, the future of geospatial, Trimble is enabling data-driven decision-making. We are creating both hardware and software solutions which are enabling making of a digital India. We are moving from a paradigm where we are only a sensor supplier to provider of solutions in the analysis and the decision-making domain as well. We'll be happy to share more information at a stall, or please feel free to catch me at any time. But it's been a pleasure being out here. I hope I've been able to highlight some of the aspects that we think going forward are going to become relevant, especially in the digital domain as far as India is concerned. Thank you very much.
I have a question, sir.
Sure.
To go back to your first slide, you've spoken about a whole lot of industries and other segments benefiting from what Trimble has done. What is it that you have for the defense?
Good question, sir. My colleagues would say you have to give me half a day. We're doing a lot of work with the defense, per se as such.
Ultimately, a Fortune 400 company
Sure.
like yours, who obviously got stakes in the US defense industry also.
Sure.
What is it that you have an offer for us in business?
Okay.
Specific.
We'll discuss it offline as well. But online, a couple of things. Number one, we're doing a lot of work with the Army as far as integrating our boards into a lot of solutions which are coming into the Army. Number one. We are doing a lot of systems are going to the Army, etc., which are being used for multiple applications. I will not go into all the applications. I'm not supposed to. That much integrity I have to show. But multitude of applications, etc., our complete solutions, our GNSS, our optical solutions are going into the Army, etc. For whether it's ranging, whether it's for verification, etc., whether it's for intel, a lot of the tools are being used. For example, I showed you a tool, I handle GPS. It comes with a laser rangefinder. Very, very portable, highly accurate tool. It can be used for collecting data. Actually, data which can, and it has an integrated camera, can take offset up to 150 meters, etc., which is being used by the forces to collect data for various applications. Like that. There are agencies who are talking to us regarding our UAV. We specifically are in the domain, and we hope to remain in that particular domain, in the survey and the mapping domain, per se as such. So they're talking about it, how they can utilize the tools that we have for quickly capturing data and analyzing it. These are just some of the some of the tools that are going into the defense domain. We have discussed about a lot of other applications. We talked about our software. We talked about a lot of our accessories going into the defense segment. Our discussions are still on, and some of them, some of the solutions have been used by various agencies. A lot of our tools have been used in the hydrographic survey segment as well, as far as the Navy is concerned. Many of the aircrafts will carry Trimble GPSs on board for navigation purposes. So these are just some of the applications where defense agencies can and are using Trimble solutions per se as such. But I'll be happy to share offline many other ways where we can collaborate.
Thank you so much, sir.